NRG and G2 bringing up the rear to close out the group stage here in the first day of the Major Turtle. It should line up to be a real good one here.
What is happening on the desk, though? Does anybody know? Because everybody
I don't know, man.
predicted G2. I mean, it's like NRG have a little bit of a rough showing earlier on, and everybody just abandons the ship. I don't understand this. Did anybody see Squishy's double tap? Did we see Justin starting to pop off? Garrett G, #1 in goals per game in the group stage so far. How are we predicting against NRG against this? Of course, G2, they look good, Jory, but is it enough to take down NRG? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it is surprising because the desk is usually pretty NRG heavy.
Right.
Even when G2's in play. In fact, I'd say G2 don't get the nod often on the desk. So it's that big Drees energy.
Yeah.
And you can understand why he's been popping off for G2. Chicago underneath and gonna force that ball through on the challenge. But you like what you see at G2 today.
Ooh.
Even right here, the offense is clicking early.
All right.
JNaps will land right on top of it for the tip-in.
I understand the desk now. This all makes sense. Look at the play. Chicago getting the demo off the backboard. Drees comes in for the follow-up. It was stolen by JNaps, but that goal is 100% thanks to Drees being in the perfect position, and that's where they need him. JNaps in Chicago have been so aggressive now on this new G2 roster that Drees is filling in that same position similar to Rizzo as the third man, the striker coming in. He has to get the cleanup. He has to be on target, and for the first shot of the day, he is.
Oh, Garrett expecting the touch from Chicago, and it never comes, and that results in the second G2 goal.
What on earth is going on with the defense here? We've got a backboard miss from Garrett G. Justin earlier on couldn't get a touch as that main aggressor on the defensive side, and then Squishy's just left out of position because you assume Garrett G is going to get a touch. The NRG defense, it's just all over the place in game one, Jorby.
Yeah, not going the way that they'd like to start. And a nice comfy lead in the first minute for G2, though.
Yeah. Bit of an awkward game for NRG. I think G2 have been trying to put them in as many uncomfortable situations, which is very difficult against this NRG roster, who seem to do really well when they're in those tight situations on defense. Even against SSG, excuse me, they were just playing the possession game. They didn't want to really let up on that possession. And here we haven't even seen them get on offense quite often. So NRG, you've got to figure out how to transition and get forward.
Oh, a couple good challenges here in midfield for NRG, but Drees taking away another option for Garrett. NRG will have to reload here in the blue half. G2 a little slow to the challenges. Drees way late. Garrett's got to look downfield, and the shot's right in the face of the defense. NRG get the goal.
And it's all about the power. If you're Garrett G and you see this pass come through, just time your flip as well as you can. You can see that is a firecracker into the back of the net. Even if it's right in front of the goalkeeper, there is no chance he's getting that save, Jorby.
Not at all. Power behind Garrett's shot makes things pretty much impossible. Oh, Squishy.
Have been doing that pretty much all day long. While they didn't look too great at the beginning, it's the passing game. And I just got to highlight, Squishy Muffins has been behind all of these plays. Look at that little chip shot off the backboard for Garrett G, the main striker for NRG today.
And then G2 letting another backboard read go. JNaps couldn't grab that rebound. Garrett missed one earlier, so both teams letting a couple leak off the backboard. Chicago now off the ceiling. Hits behind the ball. Oh, Chicago, it's a beauty.
And I'm not sure if this really comes down to the communication. Either way, it's some flashy mechanics from Chicago. You save your flip, and Squishy would have had that save. But with all the fear that Chicago was able to inflict on the NRG defense, they had to dive at it.
I mean, that's just terrifying. When Chicago comes down off the ceiling, you're not really in a position to challenge it. And now he gets under the ball. By the way, still has the flip.
Yeah, and they knew that. They knew he still had that flip, and they're just waiting. It's a no-brainer to pre-jump it. Just an unfortunate situation for NRG, but an even better play from Chicago in those mechanics.
Now, this is already shaping up, even with a couple of mysteries.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, it's a shootout. JNaps launches one from midfield.
Can we just appreciate the speed right now from JNaps to get up to this? He read this so quickly and got up into the air as fast as possible. Squishy, you can't even complain with how he approached that challenge, but JNaps, he is on another level with that speed.
Something G2 have always been really good at is punishing you with that pace.
Oh,
Justin almost punished G2 with that one. Now Garrett popping it up high, but it's a slow ball. G2 will get the transition they were looking for, yeah.
That midfield presence from G2, that's another win from Chicago. We just saw an earlier one from JNAPS that led into a goal. Now Chicago going for the dunk. Gets it and keeps the pressure forward. Can't find a challenge, but that midfield game, it's been all G2.
Drees, tried to stay behind that one. Justin can't work the ball across. Chicago and JNAPS work the ball back downfield, and midfield is clean for G2. Oh, it almost went straight into Chicago's bumper. Drees will never get the read. Justin picks it up cleanly, creating a transition for NRG, but they have not been able to stay in the orange half for long, Turtle. Despite matching G2 in opportunities, 6 shots apiece, well, they find themselves behind by 2 here. G2 have just been more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, more efficient with the speed, with the boost as well. Even in the midfield, look at the passing to get down towards the side of NRG. It's Drees connecting with everybody else, and Chicago and JNAPS, they've already had that synergy, that chemistry. The foundation is there. They've been waiting for Drees to fit in, and you can tell on the pitch he is doing so rather nicely. Garrett G, a little bit of a mind game, maybe something on the dribble. He gets past everybody and slots it in.
Garrett works the whole way down the pitch for this one. One was gifted to him. Next man up. Whoop, see you, Drees. And an easy goal for Garrett. I love the groundwork. It's sometimes simplicity is elegance, Turtle, and that's what Garrett G is, elegance.
Well, it's so clean. I mean, he's going downfield, and we just mentioned efficiency. You're trying to keep your boost for as long as possible while also doing a bit of work and mind gaming that last defender. And for a player like Garrett G, you get behind the ball and you're trying to defend against him. You automatically assume he's going to go for something crazy. So, like you said, the simplicity, that's all that made that play so special, because you expect him to do a little bit more, but it's a mind game in itself.
Well, it's a good push for NRG, and Drees caught on the back wall, can make the first save. There might be more coming. Garrett will at least neutralize the ball in the third. Justin, not exactly the touch you want to grab, but that was a difficult task. Garrett G bringing up the rotation. It gets smacked back down to the blue half by Drees, though. G2 just won't let NRG in. It looks like it's gonna take another transition where NRG have been most successful finding the back of G2.
Yeah, it's been with the passes up to Garrett G. Look at how fast he is. He has been so aggressive. Not only #1 in goals per game so far in the group stage, Drees goes for the backflip, and it slipped in, Jorby. What happened here?
No! Oh, Justin coming back, tries to find that read. He knows Drees was going for that angle. And it was just the timing, Turtle. It's just the timing of his flip, and the ball kicks off the front of his bumper weirdly, and then he's still rolling by the time it comes off of the wall, and that just... Look, that sucks if you're Justin.
I'm convinced Drees is just a different breed of a player, because we saw that similar play, that similar goal, I believe against FaZe, where Drees got a touch and it went off the backboard, and a couple of players from FaZe ended up own goaling. We see the same situation, and that gives them the security to win game 1. They move on now and take the series lead. This has been a great start for G2.
Well, you know, I don't think Justin is feeling too bad about that one. He was laughing as soon as he hit that one. Look, the best goals you'll ever hit are own goals. It's true, even at the top level. And for G2, I mean, the outpouring of offense, especially early, they scored those 2 goals in the first minute. And NRG, in this matchup in particular, haven't been too good at playing catch-up. That was a tough first game for them.
Absolutely, and you've got Garrett G with the hat trick himself, doing a lot of the shooting. His striking was very powerful, which is what I did. Pretty much, I thought was the only key factor we could take away is Garrett G's striking. There was some good midfield passing as well from Squishy, and that's how they were connecting on offense, but they couldn't really sustain that pressure. You know, if you compare this game for NRG to the one they played against SSG, it was completely different. Now that's very popcorn offense where they're only getting a couple shots here and there, but they're immediately forced to go back, and that's a lot of pressure on your defense, and you can see the wear and tear it has when you're forced to play mostly defense in a game.
You know, see how it starts for them if they can try to, I mean, you know, the simple thing, score first, but maybe rely on Garrett a little bit.
Absolutely.
Garrett has been playing really well so far in the first 5 minutes. So as we head to Forbidden Temple, see if NRG can get it figured out against G2. But the Drees effect, man, I mean, he's just fit into this rotation so well, and I can't help but be impressed every time we see him. It's made this G2 roster more fluid. in the games that he's been in. And maybe you thought, okay, he gets it for one tournament and then he's done.
My
but
goodness. I mean, that's what we need. That's exactly what I appreciate the most about Drees coming into this roster, is that he's not selfish, as that was a shot there from Chicago, almost getting past the defensive goal line from NRG. But Drees, he goes for those passes. He wants to support Chicago and JNAPS up top. A lot of times you'll see a player come in with, big shoes to fill like Rizzo, and they're going to be a little bit more selfish. They're going to try to prove people wrong. But Drees knows exactly who he's around, and that's Chicago JNAPS. The veteran experience is there. You've just got to set him up, and he's doing that lovely.
Absolutely. You're right there. Couples challenges for G2, and not a lot of time for Drees, but he hops over Garrett. G2, a couple of free looks in midfield. JNAPS can't nail the double, but Chicago will grab the rebounds, and G2 will score first.
Hold on a second. This is a little bit awkward here from Squishy. You can see he was the last man back. He had to dodge the demo, and the recovery was there, but he went for the pre-jump on JNAPS' double tap, and that's why he couldn't get the follow-up. He assumed JNAPS was going to put that one in the back of the net. The miss came out, and because of it, it was an easier setup for Chicago. Tough play there from Squishy. Almost made it work.
Nice long ball for Squishy. Back over to Justin, who tried the quick flip reset. Just couldn't quite get underneath it.
Man, this G2 offense, I'm telling you, Jorby, I've been impressed. I came in here a little bit, I was speculating on whether or not G2 had what it took to really bring that firepower to the defense. And when you've got counterattacks like this, you're going to need to put a little bit more effort in your defensive rotations. This is a good equalizer here from Squishy.
You want firepower? Now Squishy's got the rocket launcher.
Wow.
That was a hard shot on net for Squishy. And a rare moment where they actually caught G2 out completely on the rotation, but it took a monster shot like that to get by.
Well, and even then, you can't see a goal like that from NRG and be convinced that they're going to come back in this series or even this game alone, because that started in their defensive half. They didn't even leave the midfield to get that goal situated. It's an easy fix for G2 on that defensive rotation, but a miss off the backboard could lead to something from Garrett G as he puts in the midfield. And the demo, the sacrifice to keep G2 alive and tied up.
Nice back pass from Squishy to Garrett, but nothing materializes out of it. One Squishy coming back on the rotation actually gets the touch off for Chicago, and denied by Drees. But this still is a good push for NRG. Garrett launches one. Abs handled it. G2 handle business on the orange half and get a massive clear out of it. Justin sends it right back Squishy, right where he needs to be to keep the push alive. And no, JNAPS says no. We're not locking heads this time.
I was about to say something. I thought we had a rule one for a second. He had to get out of that one, okay? There's a lot of pressure on the line here. G2, they've got things to fight for. Mostly being pride as they have already taken #1 here in the group stage. That's a good save from Squishy. And the NRG defense is getting tested again.
Squishy, no boost, no chance to make that challenge happen. Garrett finding Squishy on the back end, but it's still G2's ball, and, broken passing play will give Drees possession back in their own half. But NRG, much cleaner on defense. Garrett getting another clear. Squishy's got plenty of boost to get behind it. The second touch taken away by Chicago. And it's a slow progression for NRG, but they're maintaining. Garrett, midfield, pass to Justin, back to Garrett, and he wasn't ready for it.
Oh, we had the touch from Justin. It was just a little bit behind Garrett G. Justin didn't anticipate that landing from Garrett. It didn't see all the speed. It doesn't matter, though, because Squishy continues to set up the strikers on his team.
Yeah, Squishy, I mean, excellent work overall. That's a textbook pass to Justin. But the control from him over the last, 25 seconds, where he got that first clear down from midfield, and then just, like you said, kept giving opportunities to his teammates, and eventually Justin found the net.
And that's exactly where Squishy fits in on this NRG roster, as that aggressor who is trying to give his teammates a couple of setups and get that ball into the air. He knows that Garrett G and Justin have the speed, and while it's been a battle in the air to beat and win these challenges against G2, it has been working out for NRG quite often. So keep going with that strategy. You still got to hold it down on defense, though, as G2 are looking to get the equalizer.
Oh, Squishy Had to really manage how he was going to approach that jump. Garrett next up. He'll get the touch, but Dries wins the challenge. Justin hops in front of the net. Now JNAPS. Oh, nice touch from Squishy and a good block from Squishy as well. He's had a boost on the play, and JNAPS will take it away. G2 have somehow grabbed this ball every single time it's come back to midfield, but they're having more and more trouble getting those shots on NRG's net. Here's another one. Chicago wants to pass over to Dries. It's broken, delayed a little bit. Double commit from NRG. Chicago still on the point for G2. Coming back are JNAPS, blocked by Garrett, and NRG get out of another.
Oh, but the boost is not there. Justin is looking for boost. He has nothing in the tank. The shot came through for G2. Maybe a midfield pass, but Dries is nowhere to be found, and Justin can finally collect a full boost pad. But just when he does, Chicago gets a demo on Squishy. The starvation, the pressure, something has got to open up, and it does. Chicago, the shot on the other side. This was just the domino effect of that boost starvation, Jorby.
Up, and that was pass in traffic. Justin couldn't get there. Squishy tried to read it on the jump, and there was just no chance. G2 tie it up, 11 seconds to go. And Forbidden Temple, they've been a tight one.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm still amazed because that started with that starvation. Justin had nothing. He was panicking. Rotations had broken. But maybe you can get one back, Justin, to touch off the backboard. This could lead to something. Otherwise, we get OT.
Garrett boxing out the last of G2, and we will get overtime. It's been a tight one. Neither team willing to send the whole house, but NRG more and more confident, especially with Squishy playing a really solid first man in the orange half.
Yeah, but that confidence got to be lowered just a little bit because the final few moments look all in favor of G2. Maybe a mind game and a bump attempt from Chicago. The aggression coming out from G2 doesn't result in a goal, but we saw what happened last time. These small little instances where you can starve the other team, it'll eventually lead to something, and that's the game plan for G2.
Oh, Dries missed the read. JNAPS gets the save and bails Dries out. Squishy keeping it close, but can't make the 50 happen. And G2, a scary one. Justin, midfield challenge against Dries. Back to Garrett. Garrett testing the backboard.
Squishy
testing the shot and passing with flying colors as NRG take Forbidden Temple.
And you gotta give so much credit to Squishy here. He sees it off the backboard, and Chicago had also jumped. Squishy could have easily hesitated and decided not to go for that, giving too much respect to Chicago, but he saw it was a clear opportunity, went for it, didn't hesitate, kept that line straight to the ball, and got a quality finish. Great work from Squishy. And again, I'll say it, Squishy has been the backbone for this NRG roster, it feels like, Jorby.
I mean, look, Squishy's playing like, what's the word? Just clinical. He's playing so well right now in that first man role. Like, so many of those carries he's had, solid challenges, shoveling the ball out of the corner to give Justin and Garrett more opportunities on net. I mean, Squishy is playing a solid game right now, and when he's playing this well, it's tough to count NRG out of anything. I know the whole desk went G2's side, but Squishy's taking it to the he's taking it to Squishy mode right now.
Oh yeah, but the passing game from G2, that's something we also have to look at. The way they're able to move down the field, it just came down to that backboard read from Chicago where they broke down a little bit. But other than that, there's really not much to critique for both sides, Jorby. I'm loving this series so far. It has been an incredibly close fight, not only in the midfield, but also in that speed category. Both teams, seems like they're kicking it up, another gear every single game.
G2, one concern I do have is, or not G2, excuse me, NRG, the one concern I still have is the transition game. G2, for a lot of that time, we're able to starve NRG out and then put them in some pretty difficult spots on the transition. But if they can limit those opportunities, then they might have taken control of the series.
Yeah, and speaking of opportunities, we just saw a pass come across the midfield. That's one from Squishy that we don't see too often. A very rare instance where he does miss that pass and connecting it to a teammate. It was too far in front of Justin. And interestingly enough, Jorby, we haven't seen a lot of demos from NRG. That was a part of their game plan against SSG. They were getting demos left and right, and it wasn't just Squishy, which is what we normally see. It was Garrett G, Justin, and Squishy, all three of them in rotation, looking for the physical gameplay. Maybe that would help relieve some of this offensive pressure of G2.
Well, could it be difficult to find those demos too? Because I mean, with the way Space Station and G2 play, they kind of give you two different looks, right? It's like, is it a factor of, are those demos just not optimal to get in the moment, or is it something about the way G2 play the game that makes you more risk averse in going for those demos, because I'm with you.
I definitely think that it's a mix for sure, but I'm also looking at the boost game because G2 are prioritizing that a lot. And if you don't have any boost when you're coming back and rotating out, it's nearly impossible to even go for that demo in the first place. And a good interception from Chicago, but Justin is there just in the nick of time.
Yeah, they almost got caught out. Squishy off the back wall. And again, G2 want that commanding presence in midfield. Give them opportunities like that, but Drees, it's too hard of a pass coming across the backside. Now dropped off the ceiling. Chicago flicks it over. Squishy. Garrett can't find the ball, but comes back down on top of it. Drees wants to keep that push going. G2 forced out of the blue half. Chicago, not the touch he wants. Justin in front of it can force the challenge.
There we go. We saw Squishy looking for a demo as that first man forward. But that's a big clear and another great touch from Drees, but a better read from Justin as he saves his defense a little bit of effort to get that clear, and Squishy's got a lot of time to make something work and get a pass out of here as they transition forward.
Well, G2 left that one, and Garrett punished them. NRG get the first goal off the misread.
I mean, we were talking about Squishy being clinical, but look at Garrett G in the corner. The accuracy is there. A lot of times we'll see a shot like that go just slightly wide, and it's a great opportunity miss, but not in this case for Garrett G. He has been so consistent with the striking for NRG. There's the first one.
Squishy leaves it. Justin, he's buying some time for Garrett, who's now getting harassed on the backside by JNaps. Justin coming to help out. Nobody from NRG can touch the ball, but the rest of G2 are retreating, so they never had to face that threat. Justin pitches it over one. Drees can pull it out to the corner, but Justin still behind the ball for NRG. And wow, Squishy got back to the challenge. G2 are having some struggles on the clear.
Yeah, it feels like maybe G2 are respecting NRG a little bit too much. There's been, I'd say, 2 or 3 backboard whiffs from Garrett G and company on that backboard getting set in defense, and G2 are expecting them to find a touch every single time. Maybe be in the position to punish a little bit more because you've got Justin on the other side ready to punish you for a little bit too slow to the ball.
Justin just faster than JNaps. And NRG, it got cleaner and cleaner. That first game was real ugly, allowing 5. But now you're really forcing G2 to start to get creative. And these are low shooting games. Like, we're not even getting to, 8, even 9 shots a game out of both of these teams. Right now, it's 4 for G2 and 5 for NRG. So those opportunities are few and far between.
I mean, I just think it's crazy how much we've seen this series go through different play styles and how the momentum has shifted. I mean, it started out with G2 100% winning that speed game, and every challenge seemed like it was going in their favor. But with that last goal from Justin, it's a clear indicator that NRG have figured out their rotation and they know how to outpace everyone on G2 in those crucial moments.
How did
right
G2
here, Squishy in the midfield. Look at that win.
He's been winning all of those, and it's so funny too because it's characteristic of how a match can flip on you, right? Because you come away from game 1. Justin covered it. I don't know how he covers that.
I don't know either. You see that read in the midfield, and it was a clear shot. At that point,
you think Garrett's going to touch that, right?
Right. 100%.
A pretty clear path. Yeah.
I don't even know why he pre-jumped, to be honest with you, because you'd think that Garrett G would have gotten a touch, but Justin, he's got that killer instinct.
Dude, you know what they're putting in the crystal balls these days, man. There's Drees on the next carry for G2. Garrett got a little bit of boost, wanted the bump, but just could not get the touch. JNaps. Does he get the double? Ooh, he got it down for Drees. There's just nothing there. It's too high up on the back wall. Chicago has to wait. What a pass! And too high off the crossbar.
That's another shot from the midfield. The pass came through. Garrett G getting the demo. This is what I was looking for earlier. It didn't open up an opportunity because Chicago had it red. Another pass comes through, and it's not saved. This one was just clearly too much for NRG to handle.
All right, a chance for G2. Justin getting caught out on a wonky challenge, and JNaps really making Justin sweat on that one. That pass will almost always trip you up, even if you know it's coming. That's a hard shot on net for G2.
G2 have been waiting for that this entire time. The little midfield touch where you get it across the net. NRG usually have somebody there to read it, but not that time, unfortunately, if you are a fan for them. But this could go into OT if we see a clutch play come out from G2.
Wrong half to be in. Justin tried to get the kill. Oh, Chicago, no chance. No chance. NRG have taken match point advantage against G2, and they're all smiles over there, all laughing, having a good time. And NRG, the vibes are good.
I mean, it's just completely flipped on us. At the beginning, I thought that NRG couldn't even get out of their own half. Even in the previous game that they won, it started out with so many goals in their own defensive half. You get a quick little 1-2 pass, and you're not even shooting from past the midfield line to get a goal against G2. And G2, maybe they realized that, so they pushed a little bit back with the aggression. But as a result, now NRG are pushing forward and controlling the pace. So in every aspect of the game, it seems like NRG have them covered and know exactly which play to put into action to counter G2.
Those little gaps in the rotation for G2, like JNABS being late to find that, to defend the shot against Justin, or Garrett grabbing the ball that was the rebound that was left by Drees as he tried to grab it off the corner. Like those little things for G2 are the things that they actually didn't have in game one, but they did have that outpouring of offense. How do they return to that? How do they break this cycle that they're in with NRG where they just can't seem to hang on to the ball? Because we were talking about NRG not being able to do that very thing in the first game.
Absolutely. I mean, it looks still very good for G2. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to critique what they're doing on offense because there's a lot of passes that are going straight across the midfield. I think a mix of it comes down to, I'd say, the accuracy with their shots, and then also they're respecting NRG a little bit too much. There are moments and little mistakes that NRG do make on the back line, and you can't be making the same mistakes on your own team. The first goal goes in favor of NRG, and it's because of that whiff from G2.
Yeah, that's a mark on G2's defensive record there, and slips by them. NRG scoring in the first 4 seconds.
That's painful.
It's been a pretty good day for G2, but they kind of ran into a wall at the moment.
I mean, even at the beginning of this game, I truthfully, with how that first game went, I thought maybe we'd even see another sweep from G2. They just looked too good. But there's been a great recovery from NRG, and then a double commit there from G2 kind of represents where they're feeling mentally. But another roller across the midfield, and that's the opportunity. They need to take advantage of that. That's the 4th or 5th ball that rolls across the net, and it goes unanswered with a goal because it's saved from NRG.
You know, Garrett's a bully. You see him just straight up fake out 2 defenders and then bully the third out of the net. Justin, does he get the goal? No, Drees hops back for the save. Squishy. Drees flies right by the ball, and Garrett was expecting a little bit of a tougher clear. NRG now hustling back to the ball. Justin rewarded for his hustle. The ball in the orange half.
Nice little touch there from Garrett G in the midfield. Squishy has been a monster all series long. Even in that first game, it felt like Squishy was the only reason why they were able to, even keep it close. But Garrett G and Justin have supported him from then on out. But that's a double commit, G2. Surely, you've got to punish this, but nobody is in position. The respect is there for G2 for NRG.
The few times they have found the hole, you're right. No one is available to take the rebounds. No one's ready on the rotation. They've gone off to grab boost, or they're expecting a hard clear. Either way, G2, with that characteristic oppressive offense, it's been absent in these last few games.
Well, and NRG got away with murder. I mean, they had a double commit on the goal line. It was floating in front of their net. Garrett G is still being a nuisance on offense, getting a demo and being aggressive. And you said it yourself, Joe, he's a bully right now on the field.
I mean, Garrett's feeling pretty good today, isn't he? He just comes off the ceiling. Yeah, man. I can reach across for that one.
Yeah.
And they're going for stuff like that. You know, NRG are in peak form. Like, this is when you see those smiles and you know they're laughing, having a great time, that is typically when they play their best Rocket League.
Oh, Squishy, the touch again to get through the midfield. He's weaving through the defenders. JNABS is forced to get a panic touch. Drees has a little bit of boost. Maybe he gets something, but of course, you've got an answer from Squishy. There's still plenty of time, though, and it's only a 1-goal game, as much as we talked about NRG in the final few moments. And that is saved from Justin. How did he get a save? What is going on? How did NRG survive? What?
Oh, my gosh. That shot didn't even matter.
I'm 90% sure Justin was like on his back, on the ground, sliding across the net, and he got a save.
He's like, I'm on-goaling? He's like, just kidding? I'm nuts?
The vibes,
look at this.
The vibes are
Is he nuts? Is he nuts? Oh, he almost got it. Squishy's nuts.
What is happening? Well, I honestly have no words. After what we just saw, that save from Justin, can we even call it a save at the end of the day? He probably would have hit that double tap too if there was no touch there from G2. Squishy on the recovery. This NRG roster, they're having fun. You can see them smiling right now in the face cams as well.
You know, G2 left without a real answer. And when you've had those kind of looks at the net, well, sometimes it just doesn't work out in your favor. I mean,
we need
what do you want me to say? Absolutely.
I don't even know. What do you say about that? That save, he's just sliding across the net. I'm
100% sure he was memeing. He was like, I'm not getting that.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, I'm not getting that save. It's 3-0 NRG, and I'm not sure G2 are going to find their way back into it.
Look at that first touch from Justin as well. You get a flip into the ball, and 9 times out of 10, you're hitting it way too much, and you're getting too much of a powerful touch, and you can't follow it up. But Justin, somehow he keeps the ball on top of his car even after the flip. He is feeling on fire right now in the midfield and on the offense.
I think Justin was having a mid-game snack when I last saw him on camera too. So the confidence.
You got to fuel up, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, NRG full tank for sure. And I don't know, G2 just haven't been able to find that game one form, even right there. That's just an awkward bounce. You don't expect that bounce on the follow-up.
Well, there's really not too much else to say about G2. They've looked so good. I'm telling you, there are opportunities opening up on the offense. Even right here, there's space, and they do a good job of setting the foundation for a play, but it comes down to the execution. And even just having somebody in position to punish. That player, that third man back, sometimes it's Trees, sometimes it's JNAPS, not been there whatsoever.
Now it's been all NRG ever since that first game. A little bit of style on him too. G2 will absolutely be a threat tomorrow. Make no mistake about that. This one got away from them though, and you know, fans are going to look back at this game, and you know, NRG fans especially are going to be like, dude, there's no way we lose to G2 after a performance like this, right?
Yeah.
So
100%.
I mean, we'll see how things go tomorrow, but as far as today goes, NRG styled on them.
Well, and regardless of how this match did turn out, I think G2, they can hold their heads up high because they looked stellar, really, at the beginning of today. Even in this series alone, it just came down to the punishing. That's it. One simple aspect of the game that, you know, I say it's simple, but it's very difficult. NRG, they're the ones taking this win. You can see the hype. I don't even know what's going on in the face cam. Oh my goodness. I don't know.
Whatever he's eating, that gave him the power, man.
Okay, so he gets the save, and then we get the pop-off at the end of the game as well in the face cams. This NRG roster, they're having fun right now, and it is helping them 100%.
The final thing I do want to say, Turtle, and then you're going to have final words as well, is just like when Squishy is playing like we saw him play in this series, like when he can command the ball like he was able to in this match, NRG are so scary. They're just so absolutely scary. And G2 though, G2 are not to be reckoned with. That game one performance, they've been able to take it to NRG. So you know, if it happens tomorrow, the salty run back could be real.
Yeah, just goes to show that, you know, these two teams in Rocket League, they're dominant for a reason. We've seen them pop off. We've seen them struggle a little bit with the punishing and the finishing game. But either way, you have got to fear them going into tomorrow.
Well, Justin popping victory snacks and the desk popping off to close the day out.